Welcome, welcome, welcome to Different Views, One Voice. We have a very, very, very special guest. Her name is Miss Joy Frazier, and she has a new luxury bag line, and I do mean luxury. It is the most luxurious bag line I've seen in a while. And what's beautiful about this in particular person that we're getting ready to interview, I love to call her a CEO because she owns her own business and she takes charge of her life, is that everything she does, along with her husband, is intentional. Welcome, Joy Frazier, to Different Views, One Voice. How are you today?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for this warm introduction. I'm just grinning from ear to ear right now. That's doing fab. And how are you?
I'm wonderful and very elated that I get to share time with someone like yourself. To me, you're a personification of diligence, perseverance, vision, and execution. How important are those words to you in your daily life and also your professional life?
Oh, my gosh. That is the core of my being in everything that I do, from work to the different hats that I have. And I think having those things as your core gives you it makes you intentional each day, right? It makes you show up today because those are the cores that you always revert back to. So I always think that's so important. It's so important. Like I said, I've learned as a young girl, just seeing things that is so important to have those as a core. So the answer to your question, most definitely.
You know, one of the things that I liked about your website was that you simply and succinctly said, true luxury begins within. Can you elaborate a little bit on that? Because I think some people don't understand the greatness that lies within them. And from what I saw in your product line, as well as just knowing you, it seems you exude that whole ideology. So help people understand what that means.
I really believe that my line is really, and I think that's what makes me different from the other luxury brand. It's just more emotive. And like I said, the reason why I say true luxury begins within, it's what we have built inside us becoming being. So the whole bag line is based upon our walk of self-evolution, the characters that we don't realize that's inside of us. So, for example, my bags are really much names of the characters and things that we possess in us, but we don't really know they're there. Like I have my muse tote, right? It's really based on having wisdom for the visionary, right? And I call that, and I guess I'll go back to the Wiz or the Wizard of Oz, how Dorothy walks through the lines and she meets all these different characters, right? She meets the straw man, right, who needs a brain. And I liken my tote to that. And also the Tin Man with a heart. And, you know, we have the legacy bag, and that is about having a heart, the woman that carries love and lineage and grace, right? We have the freedom saddle, and that is about being courage, the lion, to be bold and be intentional. So like Dorothy, she thinks she sees this, she walks along, sees the characters, but she doesn't realize these are the characters that are inside of her, right? She has it all along on her journey of self-evolution. She tries to run to fight the Wizard of Oz, thinking this person's going to fix her. But she realized that it's not about being fixed by somebody else. Someone could tell you you're good, but until you believe it yourself, it's never going to happen. It's never going to materialize. You're never going to move on because you have to believe it yourself. And that's why I say that true luxury begins within.
I love it. One of the things that I love about you is your acceptance of your multiculturalism. And, you know, I truly believe that multiculturalism is understanding humanity. How did your multiculturalism reflect understanding of life? And further, how did it translate to your bag line?
Oh, my goodness, yes. So I have and it still comes back to about a journey of self-evolution, right, self-discovery, right? So that's where I'm thinking, being born in London, raised by proud Jamaican parents, and then coming to New York in 2003 at the age of 30, right? So all these influences and cultures have shaped me and molded me into who I am. And you really can see this living intentionally, silent but intentionally in all the designs that you see that I produce. So they have shaped me. Like growing up with my mom, she was a nurse, and when she retired, she started to help single moms along the way. She would help them pick up their children. My house was always filled with kids, right? So I'm thinking, this is a never, so it was always packed. But what was great about that was seeing the impact, seeing the difference it made in those families has really shaped me. And that's why I move on to say that I actually created a non-for-profit back in 2015 named after my mom, called the Mihaela Isadora Miller Foundation, MIM for short, that caters to young girls, right? Caters to the family. So we've been running quite a long bit. It focuses on women, but even though it may focus on women, Keys to Joy, which is the bag, is for everybody. Because like I said, we all go through the journey, that crazy journey of self-discovery. So the answer to your question, it really has shaped me growing up, seeing how my mom made an impact in these lives and made me want to pave it forward. And that spirit still lives in my foundation today, just empowering young women to be who they can be, making sure they recover their confidence and their purpose as they go through their journeys, that they can be all things they want to be, basically.
I agree 200%. You know what I mean? The vision of yourself is what develops you. And, one of the things that I loved, and you even just said it in your last answer, intention. When you're describing your luxury, you said it's with depth, intention, and emotional resonance. And, we hear these words so much, but I would love for you to unpack what that means as it relates to not only your bag line, but also your methodology of handling and conducting business as a CEO.
Wow, intentional. I think in this world, I think my work is just being so people understand you, because sometimes there's communication barriers, right? Especially being a woman, I'm sort of like financial director in my real life, and being amongst men, and you got to be intentional when you set in these boardrooms, right? That your voice is heard, and it's so important, right? I've come across situation that when you discuss things, people think you're loud, or because you don't agree with, all of a sudden you're loud, especially a woman of color. You get that a lot, right? So it's hard. So my thing is, when I walk into this room, it's so important to be intentional in what I'm getting across, right? And making sure it's perceived in that way. Obviously, you can't help people because they have their own perceptions anyway. But I just make sure I go in there with that intention.
And what about emotional resonance?
I think it is. Resonance. I think with anything else, like my bag line, is that I feel it's about connection. I think, like I said, the argument out there with luxury brand is now it's gone through to mass production. There's no authenticity no more. So I feel that people have to connect. It's all about the storytelling and the connection and the emotion, attaching to something that you can identify with. I think that is so key today, because with the things that we're going through now, mental wellness, the things the youth are going through, being under attack, right? People going through, they really need to connect to something that reads or sounds like them, or they can identify with them. So it's not about like getting so many followers. It's also about having community, right? And I believe when I say I reach out to people, it's about community. It's not like, I'm going to get followers. I wanted to buy my bag. No, I want to build a community of people of like-mindedness that connects emotionally. That say, hey, when I walk into that book, when I want people to see them and feel them when they walk into that room with the bag on the hand, that this is the story. This is their work. This is you see their emotion. You know what their journey has been because they're connecting with that particular bag.
Exactly, and it's a sense of pride. I remember the very first time I bought my first luxury bag. It was a sense of accomplishment. And what I love about you and your bag line is it's also pride in culture, because I love the design of the bag, especially the legacy clutch. That key bar, that key, at first when I saw it, I was like, oh, this is the key to luxury. But then when I started expounding on it and understanding your intention behind it, I was like, wow, this key is so much more. What prompted you to create a key, and what do you hope people will perceive when they initially see that key on the luxury clutch?
Oh, gosh, it means so many different things, too. And it will mean different things to different people. But the essence of it is the key to joy, right? It's what is your joy? What opens your key? What opens your joy, right? And just like with all the different bags I produce, it's legacy. They all have a title. They all have a meaning and carries a meaning. So it's really what your journey of, once again, your self-evolution, your self-being, what makes you come into your being, right? What brings you joys? What do you do? It comes emotional to me because I see so many potential, because I see people that, by the women in the world that are doing so much great stuff. I would love to sit down and say, you know what is, by that night they walk in the bag, but what by day, what are they doing? They're the sheroes on the ground, working in the community, right? So what is their joy? What's their joy that's going? So it means a lot to many things, and it opens a world of discussion. And that's what I'm trying to get out of there. So when people rock my bag or they carry a bag, it's luxury, yes, the feel of luxury, but also the fact that they're carrying their own luxury within, their own joy, their own, like you said, their own muse, their own legacy. What are they trying to achieve? I always think that the legacy clutch I produce is one, I call it for the mature woman, but I'm mistaken. I have a lot of youngers that love the legacy clutch.
Yes, I was just going to say the same thing.
Because I thought it was so heavily branded, but no, they love it. And I see the legacy clutch in myself is when you get to that maturity age, you're unapologetically you. I'm not saying that you have it all together, but you know what you want. And you do not, if someone has a problem with you, oh, well, that is your issue.
That's your problem, not my problem, okay?
Not my problem.
Joy,
yes.
I see your line, really, honestly, as statement bags, meaning that, somewhere in the conversation or even on your website, again, I love the website, by the way. It's very poignant. You definitely get the feel of luxury from it. But one of the things that they stated was it's a statement without volume. And you had mentioned earlier that sometimes as a black woman entering into a corporate environment, there's certain preconceived notions of you, and your bag is a statement bag. So elaborate a little bit of statement without volume. It resonates class and reflects humility. Do those two words embody you and your line, class and humility?
Oh, gosh. I'm very bashful. I don't take compliments very well. I've got used to taking it, but I'll speak on the bag. So, yes, I believe my bag line is about making a statement, a bold statement to say, you know what, I'll walk in the room just because you see me, but doesn't mean I'm loud, right? And that's what I want to get across, right? It's bold pieces, but I'm not loud. So I think that is, like I said, that's the messaging. And it resonates, and that's why I did it. I want the bags to be able to speak for someone before they even hit the room. Yeah.
Exactly.
To go again. To be the shield. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny how I don't know if you noticed that women use bags as shields sometimes. That, sometimes we have this bag that covers us, right? And I feel that's what the bag is, right? Sometimes it's like your cover, your safety blanket. When people come there, you kind of push your bag up in front of you like, hey, don't step close. So I see that also, also as someone when they're going through things or they use their bag as their shield. And I really want to be able to say my bag line is sort of a protective shield. Not that you should cower behind it, but the fact that it talks for you before you enter that room. It shows you where your journey is leading. Yeah.
And, it's so funny with women, I talk about it at length because, I'm a woman advocate. With men, it's their watches. Well, now that we've got all these digital watches, it's different. But back in the day, a man's statement was what watch he wore, right? But for a woman, it was always what bag she rocked or what shoes she wore. And so I feel like your line is bringing back that definition of womanhood, where right now there's such a question about what is a woman. Adding to that statement, again, that one word that keeps on coming forward when it relates to Keis to joy. I really get the perception that this was actually a labor of love. How long did it take you from the day that you decided, I'm going to do a bag line? And why did you decide to do a bag line to the date of completion?
Okay, so this is interesting. I never wanted to do a bag line, funny enough. I wanted to do shoes. So many, many, many years ago, I went down that journey of saying, you know what, I really love shoes. I do. So I went down that journey of going through the whole process, the naming, still the name Joy. Same kind of concept, but finding Lask and finding designers and stuff. But life happens, right? It deters you and derails you. So I literally put it down. So fast forward about a year and a half ago, I had attended a fashion show for one of my friends was preaching a fashion show, and I met this young man out of FIT. And we actually got to talking, and he explained to me that he actually worked in a fashion, in the fashion arena, waiting for one of the retail stores. I won't mention that who that is, and he does designs for hardware, for bags, and everything else. And somehow this epiphany went off in my head. It went ding, 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 ding. So I had a great feeling, and I said to him, you know what, I'm going to get in touch with you. And I did. So a year and a half later, here we are, not with just free silhouettes, but a whole made-to-order, 27 colors of made-to-order, and that's a 12 feet in first collection. So it took a year and a bit to get here. And,
nice.
And my manufacturer, that's why I say sometimes it's divine connection, right? And my manufacturer, and it so happened that the designer that I work with, my lead designer, he had a contact with this manufacturer at John Ruzu, New York, and they are bespoke watches back in the day. They're French ateliers for watches, so you know that their clientels are out there. And they also make bags for another luxury house, which I can't mention, with the beginning H name. So they saw the design and they just loved it. They loved it. So not only are they my manufacturer, which all the bags are actually made in France, but they're also my marketing partners because they believed in the brand, and they not only do they have the chance of highlighting that they are also they can actually produce great bags as well, great manufacturing wise. So that's how that all worked, and they've been really working with me. And would you believe it? They actually are housed in the former Rockefeller Mansion. So it was nice on my open to able to say. It was nice on my open to say not only are we standing in legacy, now they'll be hosting a legacy in their windows now, which is my line of the clutches. So it was just nice to know that it's like a whole turnaround, how everything has been aligned.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And it has a lot to say. I don't particularly focus on colorism because I feel business is business and it doesn't really matter per se, the melanation of a person. However, I do feel the pride in seeing someone like yourself excel to a point where it's not about color. It's about class and distinction, intention, purpose, and luxury, all combined in one. And in that, you're creating a community of people that understand the pleasantries. Sometimes when you like nice things, people say, oh, you're bougie, or you're this, or you're that. But no, it's me being able to treat myself to something, whether I have to save a whole year to get it or I just buy it on my next check. It doesn't matter how, it matters why and what it does for you. And I noticed that you created the Keis Club, and that membership does have its privileges. And one of the things that I do love is that you're not over-manufacturing your product. Your line has a certain amount. Why did you make that executive decision, and how does Keis Club create community for your brand?
Okay. So like I said, I didn't want to do mass production. I wanted to be really tailor-made to the end user, right? So it's the inclusive and exclusive, if you understand what I'm saying. It's not offhand, it's not off, it's open to everyone, but also kind of exclusive, so we're not mass producing. We wanted to give our community the pleasure of being able to choose the style of bags they wanted, what spoke to them in their journey, right? And be more interactive, because I wanted to have whereby my community spoke, like, you know what, do you like this better or that better? I want it to be really interactive, that it's more like a community feeling than just like, hey, yes, there will be there to have the first offers and first things that come out and be party to different things, like getting things, because we do have accessory phone watch. So they have inclusive where they can get the messages on there, etc. So things like that, and other collections that the next collections that are going to be coming down the road, just having the first preview of that. So we're hoping to give that experience, and what we feel that we will be different is that I want them to know when they choose a bag, they see every step of the way. So we want to be able to say, hey, this is your bag when it's being made. Hey, your bag's arriving. So it feels a sense of pride, just like a child or something that you're birthing, right? So the step along the way as they birth this bag, it's being made at the same time, so they've seen that. So where they can walk with it pride. So that is what I feel is different that we bring, and why I'm being intentional about the experience, that my community experience, right? Because I feel that it's not just about clients, it's about community. And, just being loyal is a community that you build together, right?
What I love about when I learned about the Keis Club, it's that personal touch, that experience of, like what you said, like watching your bag and the progress of your bag being made for you. You know what I mean? It brings this different connection of humanity that actually in today's society, due to technology, is kind of being remiss or removed. And it's a mandate because we're meant to interact with one another. So that was something that I really, truly enjoyed about Keis Club, and the intentionality of involving the consumer within the process and understanding the exclusivity of your bag, which kind of makes you stand a little taller, like, you don't have one. I do. And there's a sense of accomplishment, even if it's inadvertently through fashion, that is remiss in society because of so many different infrastructures. So understanding all of that, what is the one message you want your consumer, your audience, your people, that the men that buy it for their woman, or the woman that buys it for herself, or the man that buys it for himself, get away from the Keis to Joy?
Oh, my gosh. What I really would love them to walk away from them is just to be reminded, and this is going back to the ethos of Keys to Joy, why we do that, like I said, everybody goes through the whirlwind of self-discovery. And like I said, once we go through, we come to the understanding that all these things are within us, right? To remind everybody that the key to wisdom, the keys to courage, and the key to the heart is always being with us. And that is Keys to Joy story, right? That is what we're about, and that is legacy.
Nice. I would be remiss if I didn't talk about the other products that you have within your line, even though the bag is like, to me, the focal point. You also have an iPhone case, and you also have, because of, the company Russo actually being a watch alter, you have the iPhone watch band.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
But here was my question. I noticed the key is your signature. Are you going to put a key in the watch band, like as far as the pin? The pin that holds the watch band. Can that be a key? Because I just thought it was so fabulous.
You give me an idea, Miss Madam. You're giving me an idea. Wow, never thought about that.
Because for the man that wants to be included in the community, they get their iPhone watch, because again, that's men's signature, but now they have a Keys iPhone watch.
Yeah, so the actual accessory is actually from the line of the colors or the leather that we produce the bags in. So a lady can actually choose if they wanted to match their bags or not. They don't have to. So while with it was basically the idea that as they go into John Russo, the atelier, if they wanted to pick up, there's a gift, why not pick up a bag and also pick up a watch and a case also. So that was the whole idea behind that. But, yeah, we try to expand slowly. And it's a slow, we don't want to mass produce. It's, like I said, we want to keep it sort of like made to order. That's what we are. And build on that. So as we go along, we'll be interacting with our community, what they would like to see. And we will see and roll these things out as possible if we can, right? Because that's what we're trying to aim, to have a community reaction. Like, hey, we're putting that here. Like, what would you want to see? Our next collection is based on the Caribbean. So watch out for the spring collection. So we will be, so that'd be more like, hey, like which, even though I'm born and bred in Jamaica and I'm just biased, I probably want to go there first. But it would be nice to see, hey, like what Caribbean island would you like to see Keys to Joy in?
Well, the last question, and it's been a joy speaking with you. I hope all my people see that a different view has a different voice, and Miss Joy Frazier, definitely Keys to Joy is the next big thing. I truly feel that, because there's so much legacy, intention, purpose, but also a level of class and distinction attached to it, that the byproduct of all of that is pride that you actually have one of these bags. How can everyone continue to find out information about you and purchase your bag?
You can follow us on Instagram, which is under the name Keis to Joy, KEISTO. JOI on Instagram. You can also go to our page, keistojoy.com as well. You can hit us there and join the VIP Keys Club would be great. So you can be first to be part of our community as well. I welcome interaction of what you like to see. And let's cause a dialogue. I want to create a community of movement, of speech, and being intentional, right? Let's talk about journey. Let's talk about storytelling. Let's go back to that, Like, hey, let's get an idea how you feel. Give me a feedback, right? So I would love to hear those stories, right? Because it makes me happy. Just like with my program, people say, why do I do it? It doesn't bring in the money. I said, it's not about bringing money. It's me when I see these women, these children, that smile hits my heart. And that is enough for me.
Thank you so much. Continued success to you, Joy. It has been an ultimate pleasure speaking with you. And we'll have to revisit again as you do the spring line. All right?
All right. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure, too.
Peace.